Homelander, A-Train, Starlight. These are just a few of the soups found in The Boys, otherwise known as the Punching Bag Universe. Okay, I'm joking. Kind of. Everyone is always up to throw Homelander at all sorts of characters to see if he could beat them. But I've not had a go yet and I demand a turn. So, as we prepare for season 4 of the show to come out, I've decided to ask a question no one else did. What happens if I drop a magical girl from a semi-obscure Italian-French TV show from the mid-2000s in the middle of Walt headquarters and give her any information about Homelander, thus giving her ample reason to demolish the building? Asked another way, could Will Vandom take down the Seven? Specifically the TV show version, because I think the comic book version is off juggling universes somewhere. By the way, if you enjoy witch content, I'm reviewing the TV show on my channel, among other things, so check it out. Now, The Boys is a show that probably needs no introduction. A world where superheroes are basically Hollywood assholes who need their accidental and sometimes on purpose murders covered up like their drug habits. These heroes are the creations of W.I.T.C.H International, who use a special chemical called Compound V and inject it into babies, after which it's basically a gamble on what kind of soup you'll get. You could get someone who can fly, or you could get love sausage. Among these heroes, the greatest team is undoubtedly the Seven, a group led by Homelander, the most powerful soup ever, an angry man-child whose only weakness is public opinion. For this fight, we'll be including everyone who has ever been a member of the Seven. So we have Homelander, Stormfront, A-Train, The Deep, Black Noir, Queen Maeve, Starlight, Translucent, Supersonic, and Lamplighter. Mr. Marathon will be left out for just being a slower A-Train. As of time of recording, season 4 is not out yet, so Firecracker, Sister Sage, and the new Black Noir will not be considered. Story-wise though, this team really can't exist. Starlight is trying to take down the Seven and would never work with half the people here. Homelander retired Supersonic for helping her, and most of the team would be happy to jump Stormfront for being a member of the Reich that came after the second one. So mitigating all that, I'm gonna have everyone conveniently ignore that and decide to just jump this redhead girl. Maybe she reminds them of Ashley. Now, this team has an assortment of powers available to them. They all have some measure of enhanced physicality to the point that conventional military weapons are considered useless the moment a soup enters the battle. Starlight can lift a car. Queen Maeve can stop a speeding armored truck with just her body. And A-Train, while recovering, could pull a train behind him. The assortment of unique powers the members have include flight, heat vision, electrokinesis, pyrokinesis, invisibility, sonic blast, whatever Starlight's got going on, and somehow managing to survive onto season 4. What Queen Maeve and Black Noir lack in unique superpowers, they make up for in actually having skills. Okay, that's kind of not fair. Even Annie's been stated to be trained in martial arts. But Black Noir and Queen Maeve actually make you feel that they did when you watch them fight. A-Train is considered the fastest soup in the verse, besides Homelander, and now that he has police brutality's heart, he won't even have a heart attack from it. Translucent can turn his whole body invisible, but not his clothes. Lamplighter, if he has an available flame, can shoot concentrated fire blasts strong enough to melt through metal doors. The Deep can commune with marine life and breathe underwater. Supersonic doesn't get to do much in the show before Homelander retires him, but he can produce sonic attacks by clapping his hands. Stormfront produces electricity in the form of lightning blasts powerful enough to allow her to wreck a building in a horrifying minute and kill other soups. She can also fly without electricity, potentially as fast as lightning, though there isn't really something to collaborate that idea. Starlight absorbs electricity to power her energy bolts, and if she drains enough, she can fly and be anticlimactically disappointing. Homelander is the most powerful soup, to the point where the last most powerful soup had to team up with 2 other people to try and fight him and couldn't even put him down. He's the strongest, fastest, the most durable, and everyone is afraid of him because no one can stop him, at least not alone. His go-to weapon is his heat vision, which he uses to casually end most of his enemies with little effort and can even cut planes in half. And he can fly. Despite all this, for most of its history, W.I.T.C.H International has had a monopoly on superpowered beings for the longest time, so they've never really had to try much when out fighting crime. Homelander is stated to be more powerful than any weapon humanity can throw at him, which would include nukes. While I personally believe that they haven't actually tested this out, because why would they, and think that that statement was probably largely meant to be just hype, if we do believe that Homelander can't survive the strongest weapons humanity can throw at him, that would put his durability on par with the SAR bomber, a hydrogen bomb that is easily city level. In the cartoon episode that's canon to the show, Homelander easily survives the explosion of a power plant and just keeps going, putting him at multi-city block level at least. He's strong enough to one-shot Black Noir, who was strong enough to take a point-blank blast from his soup with the power to blow up buildings with relative ease, and was also present when the plant exploded. In terms of speed, Homelander and A-Train lead the pack, but once again, it's a bit difficult to determine what statements we can take seriously and what is just hype. A-Train is stated to be able to run at over 1000 miles per hour, but once juiced up on V for a speed boost, he breaks his official record by hitting 830 miles per hour. He's also stated to have outrun bullets as a kid. Homelander can easily fly at max speeds, with his greatest speed feat being flying Butcher out of the way of an explosion going off in his face, which has been calculated to put him in the Mach 20 ranges of speed. Some believe Annie's light attacks could be light speed, but that way too heavily contradicts other things in the series, especially considering that A-Train makes them look like they are moving in slow motion. Stormfront's lightning might suffer from the same downgrade, but even if you do believe her lightning attacks are moving at the speed of lightning, no one really shows relative speed to them. Every time she uses her power, whoever she's aiming at basically just has to take it. All in all, despite its reputation, the Supes and the boys are in fact not brick level. A number of the 7, like Black Noir and Queen Maeve, would easily be in the city block to multi-city block ranges, with Homelander possibly going as high as city level, maybe even higher. Speed-wise, almost everyone falls comfortably beneath Mach 1. A-Train's speed depends on your interpretation and what you believe is accurate among the information given by the show, but ranges from Mach 1 to Mach 4. Homelander is getting up to Mach 20, and Stormfront attacks potentially reach Mach 364. So, how do they measure up against the Keeper of the Heart? Will Vandom was just a normal girl until she discovered that she was the latest in the line of magical beings called the Guardians. In season 1, she and her friends were tasked with protecting a veil put between dimensions meant to keep the evil Prince Phobos from becoming a threat to other worlds. However, holes in that veil often sprung up, creating portals to Earth. Together with Irma, Taranee, Cornelia, and Hay Lin, they are Witch. Yes, this show has negative SEO. Please share this video around. As the Keeper of the Heart of Kandrakar, the magical nexus of the dimension of Kandrakar, Will transforms herself and her friends into magical adult forms. Their powers come from Kandrakar, channeled through magical orbs called Oramirs into their bodies, giving them elemental powers. Following Phobos' defeat, the veil comes down, with its power being added to that of the Guardians. But a new threat arrives. The previous Keeper of the Heart, who was corrupted by lust for power, Nerissa. In the first season, Will didn't have a unique power beyond what the Heart could do. This includes closing portals, tracking and displaying the locations of others, even across dimensions, summoning a physical clone without powers, revealing disguised enemies, being a universal key once it absorbed the seal of Phobos, and creating folds in reality to travel to other dimensions and even within Earth. She can also make force fields that launch her opponents back. Beyond that, she had the exact same powers as the other Guardians, being aged up when transformed, flight, super strength, and a vague ability to blast magic beams that they didn't really use that often. Will is physically strong enough to push over a giant bookcase and crack concrete. In the 2-part premiere, she claims the 16-year-old Caleb is too heavy for her and her fellow Guardians to lift, but that's contradicted in that episode, so she was probably just making fun of him, especially considering the context of their relationship at the time. She's later shown to be strong enough to push over a large plant column and catch a toppled over catapult. When the veil came down in the second season of the show, Will gained access to the 5th element, quintessence. While it may look like she can simply manipulate electricity, it actually allows her to manipulate all kinds of energy, especially life energy. Nerissa, who is much more experienced with the power, is able to use the power to give life to magical beings, give others superpowers, and suck the life energy she granted back out of them. She can even bring the dead back to life with enough power. Will can bring inanimate objects to life and manipulate their movements as well as get information out of them. This basically gives her telekinesis, as she can make those objects levitate and even make them strong enough to restrain her guardian level opponents. And while not as experienced as Nerissa, she can generate and manipulate life energy and even grant it to others. When it comes to attacks though, she can freely manipulate her quintessence to create blasts of lightning, electrical outbursts, and even shields for defensive use. If it's an attack that can be done with electricity, odds are she can pull it off. She also has the power of teletransportation, meaning she can teleport herself and allies to safety in cases of emergencies, though she doesn't have much practice with this one. Where the Guardian's scale is relatively vague, especially in Season 2 when they receive an unquantified power boost when the power of the Veil is added to their aura mirrors, but there are a few metas to follow. Her fellow Guardians in Season 1 have a few storm creation feats to their names. The energy they would need to manipulate in order to create these storms would put their output at city level. Irma, the Water Guardian, is able to hold the pressure of the water deep at the bottom of the underwater mines back before Cornelia lifted the structure they were in to the surface while resisting letting it get crushed. This would also require city levels of power considering the depths and how much water would be on top of them. All of this is before Season 2, where the Guardians receive a significant power up to the point where, despite having good control of their powers in the previous season, they become prone to accidental outbursts before they adapted. Cornelia's attempt to form and control vines causes a small earthquake, and Irma makes it rain without even trying in human form, something she previously only showed she could do on purpose at full power. On top of that, we can also compare the Guardian's powers to that of Phobos, who casually created a pocket dimension in a painting. We don't know much about this feat, like how much effort it took for him to create it or if he was still supplying it with power. We don't even truly know how big the land he created was. But at the very least, we know that the entire thing was constructed by him as punishment to the artist, so it probably didn't take much effort. And we can tell from watching the episode that it's at least the size of an island and can grow bigger if more land is painted into it. And the things in it are real, to the point of continuing to exist in the real world if brought out. Phobos' ultimate goal was to enhance his powers by stealing those of his sister, Elion, as she's stronger than him. And in Season 2, we learn that Elion is the heart of Meridian, basically a counterpart to the heart of Kandrakar. And possessing the heart of a world is treated as being put at equal power with someone possessing another one, so they do scale to each other. Phobos also stated that the heart of Kandrakar would significantly increase his powers he has already spent a significant amount of time artificially increasing by stealing energy from his kingdom, which is basically a whole planet. Even divided among the 5 Guardians, once all this is taken into account, it would put Will's power at island level, if not much higher. Even when Phobos attempts to, and I quote, destroy the weakest link among the Guardians, Hay Lin proceeds to send him flying, telling him that if she's the weakest link, he's in serious trouble. And then he and his army gets instantly no-diffed by Elion. On top of this, higher scales for their power do exist. The power of the Stone of Threeb, which was created from the heart of Kandrakar, was able to cause a massive storm in Meridian as a side effect of being activated on Earth. The size of this storm is unknown, but if it covered the entirety of the planet, and we assume it's close to Earth in size, which all indications seem to give it is, this could be scaled from multi-continental to even moon level depending on who you ask. All while the stone was in another dimension. Elion also shows the ability to instantly change the weather and landscape of the whole kingdom from horror to paradise, though it's again not clear if she does this across the whole planet. Yes, this is an insane jump from where we just were, but when you consider that the hearts are basically the centers for all the magic of their world, and in the comics the characters I'm talking about are comfortably multiversal, it's not that crazy an idea. But don't worry, I'm not actually scaling Will to multi-continental in this video. That particular meta has a few too many assumptions for my liking. That was all just an outlier I thought was worth mentioning, as it's still a crazy thing to take into account. Will can also access the zenith of her powers and become one with her element, giving her a massive power boost. One strong enough that she and her friends were able to devastate Cedric, the giant snake, after he consumed Phobos, Elion, and the heart of Zambala. Cedric had all that power, yet the zenith boost was enough to let them overpower his 2 hearts with their 1. It's stated that their win is largely because Cedric is inexperienced with his abilities, but that doesn't discredit the fact that the Guardians' base abilities were practically harmless to them, yet once they accessed their Zenith forms, the fact they fought him 5-on-1 was honestly just bullying. Not that he didn't deserve it. While this form is not one they'd use lightly due to the risk of losing themselves, it is an option. Durability wise, the Guardians show their ability to take attacks from their mind-controlled teammates as well as enemies that can match their magic. The Knights of Destruction all draw power from the heart of Meridian and are shown to match the Guardians' output. Plus, they can amplify their powers with the negative emotions of those around them. And even after getting hit by a significantly powered up attack by Shagun, Will only went down for a few seconds before flying back up. And in his normal state as Nerissa's thrall, Shagun can match her output. This would mean that durability wise, they should scale to their own magic. And at the very least, they scale to Irma's giant water punches, which can break cliff tops. In terms of speed, the characters scale to the electric attacks done by quintessence users, being able to react to them with relative ease, even in human form. Quintessence is directly compared to actual lightning, so the speeds of the generated attacks should match, putting Will's attack and combat speed relative to lightning. Will even fights and dodges attacks from a clone of her with the exact same powers. While not a particularly skilled fighter, Will does act as an intelligent and resourceful leader in the battle against her enemies, though her most impressive feats in this regard are more akin to battle and war strategies than traditional combat, such as the magical Contra Gambit they relied on in the Season 2 finale to defeat Phobos. So, with all that considered, I think it's safe to say that Will absolutely destroys the 7. In terms of physical strength, she basically falls in the camp of the average soup, with her durability comfortably over anything they can do. Speed-wise, she's leaving everything besides Stormfront's lightning in the dust, so she doesn't have to worry about getting hit. And with at least island level attack potency in her base form, she's basically a stronger, better version of the racist soup, whose powers are shown to be effective against everyone except Homelander. As she can fly, Homelander and Stormfront are the only ones matching her mobility, potentially with faster travel speed. But considering she's superior to Stormfront's lightning attacks in every way, they are just inviting themselves to get fried. Homelander's heat vision might be considered a light speed laser, which would be faster than her, but it lacks the AP to do serious damage. Shagun scales far closer to her than Homelander, and she can block his beams with lightning or just tank them. A-Train, despite his speed, would find himself being used as target practice. Translucent's abilities would be particularly useless with the heart's power to reveal hidden enemies. Lamplighter's pyrokinesis probably wouldn't be much of a threat either, giving people in her stories resistance to Taranee's flames, which are much stronger. Oddly, Starlight is notable as her abilities involve absorbing electricity to boost her own powers. However, that didn't save her from Stormfront, and she's never shown the ability to take as much power as Will can dish out. When it comes down to it, despite falling short in physical strength, Will's abilities far outshine anything the 7 can throw at her, and she outscales by a significant margin. The fight would be more interesting if she remained in human form, but I'd still bet on her. Honestly, now I'm wondering if Homelander could even beat Caleb, the Guardian's non-powered teammate. But it could be worse. It could be comic book Will. She wouldn't even need to be taken out of her universe for the fight. She could just look from her bedroom into Vough's tower and turn the 7 into frogs. Tell me your thoughts on this matchup in the comment section below. Did I miss something that would significantly affect the outcome? And while you're at it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thank you, and good day.